Hey guys, Marsinger here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so we are here with the new Goku, the Universe Tree Absorbed Blue Goku from the Heroes collab, Rainbow Link level 10. We are going to jump in and see how well we can get on here. I did manage to do another multi after the end of the stream to get the last copy of him. Shout out to everyone who was there. We rainbowed all the new Heroes units apart from the Warrior in Black, thanks to a fumble on my part, but we will go into that when we do his video. So if you know, you know, otherwise you will find out in that video, I guess. So the friend is rainbow but is not link leveled, so we will get to see the little bit of the difference between those two. Shares some pretty decent links with God Trunks, including Warrior Gods and Godly Power. So yeah, let's take a look at the Universe Tree Absorbed Goku. So his leader skill is Heroes, Kamehameha or Power Beyond Super Saiyan, 3 key 170, additional 30% for crossover. Very disappointing that the 30% is just for crossover, because that combination of leader skill categories is actually really good. Like being able to use Heroes characters together with Kamehameha and Power Beyond Super Saiyan. Like you could make some really interesting team builds if he had some better 30% for these other characters, like for Power Beyond Super, like for any non-Heroes characters. Like it's not really going to be super good for a lead. So I mean, you can still make some interesting teams, but I definitely am looking forward to trying him out more so on other teams, other than rather than just using his leader for something outside of Heroes. But his super attack is raise attack and defense for 1 turn, immense damage to the enemy, medium chance to crit for 1 turn. So that stacks within the turn. So he gets a 30% chance to crit. If he does a second super, it's a 60% chance to crit. Third super would be 90. And I think it is possible for him to do 4 in 1 turn, which if he does, it means that the 4th super of the turn would be a guaranteed crit, because it obviously goes up to 120%. And then when we look at his passive, so he gets his entrance animation once only, which we saw, which gives him 200% defense and an additional super guaranteed for 4 turns from his entry turn. 2 key attack and defense 150, additional attack 150 when attacking. Then he gets an additional 40% with each attack performed, so it doesn't have to be a super, so that's good. Launches an additional attack that has a great chance to become a super and randomly changes key spheres of a certain type to STR when there are 3 or more crossover allies or an ally whose name includes Xeno on the team. So it just has to be on the team. So considering his leader skill, even on like a non-heroes team, you know, you've got units like the Xeno Goku, who's going to be a really good support for him on like a Kamehameha or Goku family team or something like that, which could be very useful. Obviously on the Heroes team, you're getting the crossover allies anyway. Then he gets 50% attack from the rest of the battle and a great chance to guard in that turn if you get 3 orbs. Then if you get 5 orbs, you get an extra 100% attack and guaranteed guard. And if you get 7 orbs, he gets an extra 150% attack for the rest of the battle. So you only have to get the 7 orbs once, and then he has 150% extra attack. Same with the other ones, right? 3 orbs once, 50% extra attack. 5 orbs once for 100, 7 for 150. So as long as you get 7 orbs, if you get 7 orbs in the first turn, he just has 300% extra attack for the rest of the battle. And then after that, you just want to be getting 5 orbs every turn so that he gets the guard. Because then he has guard and has 40% damage reduction when guarding. So let's go ahead and jump in. The friend build is 3 dodge and then 15 additional. This guy, I would say you just want to give him additional and dodge because he has built-in crit that stacks up. You can see my one, I gave him some decent skill orbs from that crossover, the chests as well with the Whis tickets. So mine has 17 additional and 22 dodge. And of course, like I say, mine is link level 10. So we can get 6 or, I mean, I guess there's no real difference if we can only get 5. So I'll get the 5 orbs here. He does also have an active skill, which obviously you can see it was active there. Can be activated when there's an ally whose name includes Xeno in the same turn, so with no restriction whatsoever, or starting from turn 5, and its attack that does damage gives him extra defense and all attacks are crits for the turn. So with the intro buff, you can see 270k defense start of turn. We are going to have guaranteed guard because we've got 5 orbs. So yeah, let's just go ahead and see what we get out of our boy here on turn 1. So 10.8 mil, that's at level 1 links and without that extra 150% attack. So that's not bad. Obviously he's getting some support from Super Saiyan 4 Vegito, although it's only the 20% because he supports heroes, and then Giant 8 power as well, which of course Goku is not on. So get a couple of additional attacks here. There's the extra super. So I think he's supered what? He's attacked 4 times. He's got to attack 5 times in order to get his full defensive build up from his passive. So yeah, unsurprisingly tanks for double digits after multiple attacks with guard and damage reduction against a physical enemy. Not that this Gohan hits that hard anyway, but in fact Xeno Trunks probably just finishes him off here. Having a very hard hitting STR unit makes this stage quite easy. I like this stage for showcases though, as you guys know, I've said many times before, because you can have the invincible Goku, right, with his dodging in the second phase. So actually, it looks like we probably won't finish him off here, which I guess is kind of annoying, because like the other Goku, you know, he does want to attack a whole bunch of times. And of course he is now just going to one-shot. Would Vegito kill with a crit here? No, he wouldn't have. So it's a little bit disappointing, because it means the other Goku doesn't really get to get any build-up. But Limit Breaker Vegito. Now with the Japanese voices, it should be playing. I can't hear the game sound at the moment, but right, so they're links. They share Super Saiyan Shocking Speed, prepared for battle, fierce battle. Limit Breaker Vegito is still a fairly useful unit. Like, obviously the heroes units age, like, usually not super well, but Vegito's aged relatively well. I think whatever because we still need to do some testing. Obviously this is the first video I'm doing, so I haven't tried out any of the other new units yet, but once we settle into like what the most optimal version of the heroes team is now with the new units, you're probably still going to be running Vegito on there. Him and Rose are probably the only older units, aside from some of the Easy A's potentially, that like would still be runnable now. So 263 on turn 1 for my one here. Mine's obviously, like I say, Rainbow full level 10 links. We did get the 7 orbs for him, so he now has the full attack buff like permanently, which is good. So yeah, he starts off at 14.3. That's pretty good. Considering the number of attacks he can get in one turn, like, that's pretty decent. Unfortunately, we are only able to get the 1, but let's see what we got here. So we've got the support from Xeno Goku as well. So yeah, now he's at 733k defense. And as long as we get the 5 orbs, then that's with guard and 40% damage reduction. And we can get the 7, so now the friend Goku is going to have the full attack stat as well. We attacked, was it 4 times this Goku attacked last time? So they can get, yeah, 1 more attack is going to give him the maximum defense buff. So obviously after this super, not only does he get the stat raise from his super attack effect, he does get the extra raise from the passive upgrade. So that means at this point he's like over 1 million defense, right? And then we're dropping another super that's like 16 mil. There's the crit. Additional normal. Unfortunately, the hidden potential only a normal as well. But yeah, another 4 attacks turn. Yeah, I think Goku has the potential to, like, on his best turns, look really, really good. And yeah, it's going to be one of those things that people are going to see the restriction. Like, you want the orb changing and the chance to do the additional super, right, by having the 3 crossover allies on the team or someone whose name includes Xeno. That's going to be fairly important because, like, I've seen people say that restriction doesn't really matter too much because he's on teams with a lot of orb changers, which is true if you want to run him on other teams. But the additional super definitely helps, like with the build up and everything. And of course the active skill, right, requires the Xeno ally, or you just wait until turn 5, which realistically for a lot of events you probably are not going to be using it until later on in the event anyway. Like for me, I will save the damage active skills for, you know, like the last phase where you're trying to win the fight at the end, because that's when the enemy's hitting the hardest. You just want to get the fight over and done with and get the W. So it being restricted to turn 5 if you don't have a Xeno ally, I don't think is the end of the world. Alright, so let's see. So you're at 346. Obviously he only got 1 attack last time, so he didn't get the extra buff, which is unfortunate. We can't get the 5 orbs if we put them in slot 1 here. Because yeah, unfortunately, orb changing is always going to be a little bit like hit or miss. So let's see what happens here. We get the 3 orbs. It's only a great chance to guard, but remember he's got all of his full attack buffs already. I just realised I got everyone to attack Gohan, but okay, so he did guard 200k in slot 1 though. I mean, I guess that is the downside to him not getting all of those attacks in the first turn, right? Because then starting the turn with only 300k defense, whereas if we'd actually killed that first phase in that 1 turn, then obviously he would have got a bunch of attacks off against the second phase. It's always the issue with characters if they need to do a certain number of attacks to get built up, and then their first appearance is when the boss is like almost dead. But what can you do? So 15 million attacks that hit on the additional. I mean, he's definitely doing some decent damage, although of course here type disadvantage if we don't get the crit, then obviously we don't do that much damage. But decent attack stats, I guess we should say. Like a unit who's going to have relatively good defense, especially after supering, with the guard if you get the orbs plus damage reduction, and then is dropping like multiple 15 million attack stats, I think is pretty good. Yeah, Goku super attacks, then we break into Geo, then obviously you dodge, double super gets double dodged, then there's double defense raise for the Geo, so he's fine here. Plus he's got the links active with limit break and the Geo, so... Alright, so now I think is where we get this is the turn where the friends like thing has run out, right? So yeah, now they're at 524 because the intro buff has run out. So this is now the Goku for like the rest of the fight, right? His intro buff has run out. So 524k defense, which is not crazy, but obviously guard plus damage reduction, like it's still going to be relatively good. We can obviously get the orbs a couple of different ways here. So he's going to have his guard. No tech orbs for Trunks, is a little bit unfortunate. Let's do that. There's some in orbs at the side there, so I guess let's do this. We want to stall here for a little bit, so we'll do that. But we'll let Pan attack Gohan. Don't want to stall for ages and not have attacked Gohan at all. So then when we're ready to move on to the next phase, we can at least finish him off like a little bit quicker. But obviously if we get Trunks, because the risk we run is if we get Trunks to attack Gohan, and then he ends up getting like the 4 super turn with crits with type advantage, he's doing a lot of damage at that point. But yeah, Goku with the crit, and get dodge. Dodge obviously good as an additional hidden potential thing for him, because as you get past the intro turns and he loses that extra defense, like him dodging these big super attacks at the end of some of these strong events is going to be what you want. Because post super he started off at what, like 500k, so every super attack is giving him at least 100k defense, and then he does have guard and 40% damage reduction, so he is going to be able to take big attacks relatively well, but you also are going to have to be careful. Xeno Pan, of course, a good one of the good easy A's, good for the team, good with his extra buff. So now this guy 464. Yeah, it's just unfortunate that he didn't really get fully built up before his intro buff ran out. So I think we could probably do this. Yeah, because you still play out the turn even if you kill the Gohan, don't you? So we'll do that. Do that. Just try and get rid of Gohan this turn, because otherwise Xeno Goku gets super attacked by the STR Goku at the end, which is not ideal. Because yeah, his Limit Breaker Vegito should get some attacks off. I mean, you can see here, Limit Breaker Vegito on this setup, even if he's not linked up with physical Super Saiyan 4 Vegito, still does some decent numbers, gets the crits, has the damage reduction and everything. So like, he's still pretty good. Yeah, 15 mil. I think that's not bad, considering the number of attacks he can do, the crit chance. Hopefully we do get some crits here now. So the second super, like I say, has a 60% chance to be a crit. There we go. Didn't get the extra additional, because of course one of the guaranteed additionals is the turn restriction. So he didn't get the hidden potential there. So this Goku's going to die now, isn't he? Yeah, he needed to do like one additional super, so of course he didn't. So now he's going to get killed by Goku here. Typical. All I needed to do was attack Gohan with somebody else on like the previous turn. Oh, never mind. The boy coming in clutch. Alright, well, I want to see the active skill be of use in the actual turn with the final phase. So let's go ahead and do this. Hopefully we won't get supered. We've got guaranteed guard. 473 plus the damage reduction. The guard bonus. So we can get rid of Gohan here. How much is this going to do now though? 138, okay. But you got to remember that Gohan is not like, you know, in any way in this stage a super hard hitting boss, and we're still taking 140 odd K. Like Goku's one of those units that after his intro buff wears off, he's probably still going to be really solid defensively after he attacks. But the biggest problem with the Heroes team, like moving forward from the previous meta, was the fact that like the defense on the team is just we don't have any like really good slot 1 tanks. The defense on the team was kind of entirely relying on Vegito, who obviously at the point we're at now has lost his damage reduction because we're on turn 8. So let's go ahead and do the active skill for the Xeno Goku. Yeah, I didn't turn the animations off. So yeah, here we go. Let's go ahead and see Xeno Goku with Xeno Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Yeah, I don't know why they missed this blue spike off the left-hand side of that logo, but the active skill looks super cool. So there's the crit, 10 million damage. And then remember his active skill gives us the damage and then 30% defense, and all attacks are crits guaranteed for the turn. So it goes up to 623k. And obviously if we get the 5 orbs, which we very easily can, then we have the guaranteed guard and the 40% damage reduction. Is that going to be enough though? That is the question. So let's do Limit Breaker Vegito's active skill as well. We very much have to hope that he's not critting in that middle slot, because Limit Breaker Vegito absolutely will get killed by a super attack here. Be interesting to see how well Goku can even tank, because remember, if he does super in slot 1, Gohan does have crits on his super. So let's see, we should be getting the Dokkan attack here as well. I don't know, actually, we might just miss it. Okay, no, good. Right, so let's see. So tanks the normal for double digits, that's expected. And then the super, 429, because does crit ignores guard, right, I think. Yeah, 429k, and then we have a 14.3 million attack. I mean, it's interesting with this Goku. I think he is good. I think maybe people underrated him. Like at first, when his details came out, people thought he was really good. Then, like some of the private server stuff came out, and people were thinking he maybe wasn't as good. I don't want to comment on whether or not that's because of like how those showcases went, like the quality of them or whatever. But like, I definitely saw some of the clips I saw. Goku was at a much lower attack stat than we've seen here. So I guess it kind of depends on the team build and support and stuff like that. But one thing I will say is that Goku does seem really good, but like he doesn't seem as good as like Limit Breaker Vegito was when he came out last year, right? When Limit Breaker Vegito came out last year, he was the best TUR in the game. Like none of the other Dokkan Fest TURs that were out at the time, like none of them did what he did on turn 1. So like he was really, really good. Definitely one of the strongest like TURs. Whereas this Goku, now partly it is because we've had a much better year, I think, for the quality of Dokkan Fests. If you think about how good like Lord Slug is, obviously there's been the occasional speed bump like the Scout Vegeta, but like think about how good Lord Slug is. Like we don't do this video and then my immediate reaction is like, oh man, this guy's like even better than Lord Slug. Like I don't think he is better than Lord Slug. I don't think. I mean, there's certain things that he does that Slug doesn't do that are obviously quite good, but he doesn't strike me as being like this massively crazy, oppressive, like meta destroyer. He seems good, which I mean, unfortunately, you know, we love heroes over here on this channel, but it's kind of expecting the heroes units and then team to be like the best team in the game and stuff when the new stuff comes out is probably a stretch. even with how good Vegito was last year. So I think it's going to be interesting. I definitely want to try Goku out on other teams. He's certainly good on this team. I think the new team build for the heroes, once we've tried out all the units and we've settled on what the final team build is going to be for what is like the most optimal heroes team, certainly going to be quite interesting. But Goku definitely is going to be on it. It's a shame though, like, okay, Trunks is dead. It's a shame that they gave him the restriction on that defense, that it was only for 4 turns. Like, even making it 6 turns would make a huge difference, but events that go on longer than that, it's pretty much the exact same thing that was the issue with Limit Breaker Vegito, and the reason why he started to age out of the meta when he did is because when bosses started to hit that little bit harder, once you get to the point where his damage reduction has run out, he was one of the only units on the team that was really strong defensively against like super attacks. And once that damage reduction runs out, then he isn't. Whereas this Goku, at least we were still seeing him at what, like on the active skill turn, he was still up to like 600 odd K with support and then guard and 40% damage reduction. So that's still decent, but it's not like anything super crazy. So I think he's very good. Could have been better, but then unfortunately, could have been better is probably like the summary for this final hero celebration, which is a bit of a shame. But, you know, we're still going to keep pushing on. We're going to get all the units done, like showcase, try them out on different builds, and then we're going to go through and take out as much of the difficult content in the game as we can with the Heroes team. So yeah, stay tuned for more Heroes Agenda action, and let me know what you think of the Universe Tree Goku down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.